Hey everyone, it's Rob Golfi here with REMAX, the Golfi Team, and I got Conrad Zerini here with REMAX Escarpment and REMAX Niagara, top brokerage in Southern Ontario. We're going to talk about, he laughs every time
Yeah.
I say his name, I don't know why, but
I
we're
don't know
going to
why.
talk about,
You say it so well.
hey,
I
is
love
that
it.
right?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So we're going to talk about Ontario real estate law update with open bidding options enters into force. December 1st, we got a whole new animal of how we run our
Yeah.
business. Real estate is. It's going to probably take some months, 2, 3, 4 months before realtors even figure out how this is because it's still confusing for a lot of people. The one thing on there is about open bidding.
Yeah.
Explain open bidding a little bit. I see positives and negatives on this, but let me know what your thoughts are on open bidding
Yeah.
for.
So it's not the full Monty when it comes to open bidding like they have in Australia, where everybody stands in a driveway and just kind of shouts stuff out. I don't think that's going to work in Canada. But it's got a little bit of a twist to it that the seller at any moment can declare open bids, and they can kind of cherry pick what they want to see open. So they could just say price, or they could just say the deposit, or they could just say the conditions. But when you start to do some things like that, let's say you have a bunch of offers that are high that have a lot of conditions, and you just share the price with potential buyers. Well, people are going to assume that maybe is there conditions, is there not, and people, it could drive prices up even higher, seeing the fervor of higher prices. And we all know that when you put an offer in conditional on the sale of a house, you pay for that privilege, right? So a lot of times it's much higher than if you're negotiating with a clean offer. So yeah, it's got some interesting things, and it can change again. They can decide, the two people that decided to partake in the open offer, they can do a second round of open offers, and again, maybe not, maybe, and even change, absolutely change what they give out. So yeah, that's what's happening.
So
Mhm.
basically, okay, offer presentation starts. It's a blind bid, right?
Yeah,
Nobody sees anybody else's.
yeah.
Um, and you've got, let's say, 3 offers, and they're all within $5,000 apart.
Mhm.
That might
Yeah,
be a good time to open it.
yeah.
Just the prices. That'd be
Mhm.
good. But if let's say you got 2 offers, one, let's say the asking price is 600,000, one comes in at 650, and the other one's at 525. You do not want the open bid. Now, do you have to disclose before this happens, or the seller has a choice at the time?
The seller has a choice of what they want to disclose, and this goes back to when you need a very skilled, agent like yourself, Rob. You know what I mean, and your team. You need very skilled people, because you don't want to be letting out the wrong information. The other thing is
Right.
because some people might not want to participate. So there's language that you can put in your offer as a buyer. So buyers are thinking, do I have any rights here? Yes, you have absolute rights. You can decide that you're not going to share. You'll participate, but I'm not in the mood to share. But you will be left out of that, maybe that first round of sharing and second round and what have you. So you might be left out in the cold. You may not,
So
or
you
you
could have
might
the
be.
highest bid and not
Yeah,
share, and you may
yeah.
not, and the seller the seller may end up losing a higher bid, possibly.
Could
Is
be,
that
or
is,
or yeah, it depends on the language of, if you want to rescind your offer completely, or just say I don't want to. I'll play the game, but I don't want to be part of the open information. So yeah, you can make that decision as a buyer. So yeah, it gives you some flexibility and rights, and you may be the winner at the end. You may be victorious. So yeah, there's these things that have to kind of peter their way out. But again, you need somebody skilled, because again, and the
this?
offer management piece, like, you don't want the guys that don't want to participate by that you ended up email all and you send it to everybody.
Yeah.
The good news is that we have our department. We have we have an appointment department at REMAX Escarpment in Niagara, and they'll be facilitating a lot of that communication back to those agents as well, in concert with the agent. So yeah, it's a very it'll be challenging at the beginning, and yeah, and I think it'll evolve, and you might see more rules come down the pipe.
Is there anybody using this exact system in in Canada, any other provinces,
Mm,
or anywhere in the world? Like this is a totally different format than I don't know if anybody else is using this
no,
in the
you're absolutely right. Yeah, what we've done here in Ontario is slightly hybrid of what some other provinces like British Columbia have done. But yeah, this is pretty much this nuance is really very much here in Ontario. The other provinces had very distinctive lines of who represents buyers and who represents sellers. Mhm.
So, now here's the other thing. I don't want to get too deep because we're going to do a segment one time.
Yeah.
It's going to be more, and we only got
Mhm.
about nine minutes left.
Sure.
So here's one thing: multiple representation.
Mhm.
So, okay, now I go in, I list the house for sale,
Yes.
right? There's a buyer that comes in. Okay, I'm going to give you two scenarios. One, a buyer comes in with an agent comes in with their buyer.
Mhm.
He has to make that buyer with that agent has to make a decision whether what kind of representation they want from their agent. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah, the buyer does. Yes.
The
Mhm. Yeah.
buyer. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, if that agent, okay, what if the agent is from the same office as I am? Now, that's
If
multiple representation.
yes, but now we can designate somebody. This is the kind of cool thing, and we've probably been doing it already. Look, all
Yeah.
they did was sharpen things up. I don't think it's earth shattering. It just they tighten things up. I say because it's called trust in real estate. If you trusted us before, you're going to trust us even more now because there's now more clear defined roles, and I like it a lot because now somebody can be designated for the buyer and work on their behalf and negotiate, fight, do whatever whatever it takes to get a
Right,
great
right,
buy.
right.
And the same thing for the seller; they're going to be able to have that
We've
strong
been doing
representation.
that. We've been doing that. So
Anyway, yeah,
yeah, we've been doing so that doesn't change. Now, so
nothing.
basically, what if the listing agent has a buyer for this?
Yes.
For the same so how does that work?
Well, it's multiple representation, and multiple representation has been around for decades. So it's the same thing. It's exactly the same. Nothing's changed, and
So
again,
that stays the
it's
same.
and it's clearly defined. You're going to give them factual market information, blah blah blah. The only thing you can't disclose is motivations. But I will say this: I don't think when it's designated, I don't. You can't unless the buyer wants you to tell that I'm desperate to buy in this neighborhood and I'll pay whatever price. I don't know how many buyers would say that, but it's the same thing. Like I don't think it's anything different. When it's designated, the buyer's motivation is not disclosed unless the buyer really feels it, but I don't think that's going to help them. And multiple representations, the same thing. You're going to keep those motivations separate and just give them factual market information and help guide people through getting a deal. I always say this, we don't represent people, we represent the transaction. We're that mediary.
Right.
And I know like our licensing body will have a heart attack, but really I call it like the transaction is like a little egg and we're just here to pass it back and forth and keep it together as best we can and not make it break. Right. And negotiate to the best of our ability. So I think all that has not changed at all. Mhm.
So question to ask you. Have you started getting phone calls on,
Yeah, it's funny. I got my first one. Yeah, oh yeah. I think I got it today. It was 7:36, but that's okay. I was prepared. I planned to do nothing today, but we did a lot of training and we've got a
yeah.
spot where things are laid out. And as a matter of fact, I found an error this morning on some of our a piece that we had out there. So you know what? God bless it. I love the dialogue and love the conversation, but I think our licensing body Rico is going to probably give us a little bit of a breather for
Well, they
90 to
have to.
120
They have
days.
to.
There's without a
Yeah.
doubt. Yeah. And all the
They
old
have to.
deals, if you signed anything before December 1st, it's good till March 31st. So that gives you an idea of it's gonna, we're gonna just
Yeah.
kind of get adjusted to this in the next 90 days.
Gotcha. Anything else on here? I know we can't go through it, but what of everything that you like the most about this new thing that they implemented?
Well, I think it's clearer. I think the roles of the agents is much more clear. I think the definitions are clearer. Disclosures are much more a part of things. Very very clear. Before it was a little bit gray, and I think that buyers have opportunities and buyers have rights and. It's interesting because I thought the buyer would have the right to initiate the open piece. I wasn't sure it was all going to come down, but we found out, probably about 6, 7 months ago, it was all seller. But at the end of the day, I think the buyer still has a right by wanting to participate or not. So that gives them an opportunity, and it just clearly defines our roles. And I think this is a time, Rob, the fact that you are getting behind this right away, and most people are probably hiding from this for the next 90 days, but you're getting out in front of it, and that's why you're an industry leader. So get out in front, educate your buyers and sellers, and I think it's just like I said, it was a lot of housekeeping because we had the same example, client and customer. I will tell you, I'm a broker of record. I couldn't remember what the difference was, and definitely consumers were very, very confused. And I know sellers wanted to see more of an open offer situation, and they wanted to be able to communicate some of the elements of the offer to potential buyers. So I think it's a win-win for everyone. Yeah.
So my understanding is, I heard the the mandatory courses that they have that with this new mandate. I heard it's very easy and explanatory for agents if they take the course. So I mean, I've got 2 years before I have to take my my 24 credits, but I think I may sign up for this.
You can take the elective anytime. And you can bank it. So it's not about. It's very clear. It's actually the most well done thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of signing up for something like that. But yeah, like it does seem confusing. I know a lot of realtors, even including myself. Like I'm like it's just like they didn't just implement one thing. They just like whoa, you know what I mean? Like they just like it's like a buildup of everything. And for new agents coming into the business, I mean, this is what they're going to learn. They don't know anything else. For us, we've been used to doing it a certain way. Now we have to change it, and especially agents that have been. People don't like change, right? Remember when we were using WinIDS and then it went to Matrix. We're like, oh my god! But WinIDS broke down almost every other day. If you had to go on an appointment for an evaluation, if you got it today, you better work on it while that thing's working because you better not do it 2 hours before. But
this is old legislation. This is like 2002. Like you got to remember, it's REBA 2002. That they're amending, right? So this is like 20 years, after 20 years, markets change and consumer habits change. It was perfect timing to have that all come together. So
So good stuff. Anyway, Conrad, I appreciate this better explanation. I think a lot of realtors appreciate it. The consumer, they're going to start learning about it, and it's going to get out there. And I think, I'm good with it. It's just part of doing business. They have a better understanding of everything, and that's it, buddy. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much, and everybody else out there that's listening, listen more and subscribe, and you'll learn more what's happening this week in real estate with the Golfi team and with Conrad Zerini with REMAX Escarpment and REMAX Niagara.
Great. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for doing this, Rob. Really important information. So well done. Well done.